Esalen Live, where we chat with change agents and swim deep waters in an ongoing exploration of human potential. I'm your host, Christine Chen. Here's a question. Do you practice being present? And what does that really mean? Is there a difference between being present and presencing a moment? Russell and Linda Delman have spent their entire lives offering transformational education, which includes the embodiment practices of somatics, Feldenkrais, psychology, spirituality, and more. And here they are on Esalen Live today. Hello, Russell. Hi, Linda.
Hi. Hello, Christine. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for joining. If you're watching us on Esalen Live, please let us know where you're joining from and let us know what you think is being present or what is presencing a moment. If you have any questions for Russell and Linda, please do float it into the chat. So let me ask you, Russell and Linda, what is the difference between being present and presencing a moment? Tell us.
Well, so Christine, we think of language as somehow separate from our living experience, but actually language not only describes what we experience, but it helps create it. So when we say, I'm going to be present, it can have a kind of static feel, like I have to be present in this moment. And it's a kind of almost demand, I notice many people feel. They feel, I'm not really present, I should be present. But presencing a moment, this beautiful ing in English, brings it into movement. It brings it into, oh, I'm alive in this moment. I'm in presencing a moment. I'm bringing myself forward into it. So it conveys a sense of livingness, which is what we are most interested in.
I love that. Livingness. Can you explain a little bit more? So go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that presencing the moment also has this sense of I have more time. It's a timeless sense of being present in the moment. That present, as Russell was saying, was this static in time, but presencing has this quality of you have all the time in the world. You are encountering something and it is encountering you. And it's a bigger moment than even the moment.
Russell and Linda, check it out. Susie Self added, I am alive when I'm making music. Thanks, Susie, for that comment. And then Steven says he's joining from Sunnyvale in Silicon Valley. He's also an Esalen massage worker. So if you want to let us know what you think it means to be present or how you practice presencing, or if what Russell and Linda are saying is really resonating with you, please let us know in the chat. So question for you as you move on, like we're in this time period where everything's much more complicated than it used to be. And this feeling of trying to be present with so much going on and the integration of the mind and the body and our practices, so complicated and challenging. What would you have to say about that and how we can shift into this moment?
Well, I would say it's a perfect time to practice presencing because it's a lifesaver from all the challenges and all the busyness and all the global struggles. That there's nothing better to do than to become quiet and more present with yourself. So you have some space to be able to observe, to be able to sense what's happening, but you have a little distance from it, and so you don't kind of get eaten up by it.
Yeah, one of the great discoveries that has motivated our work for so many years is that your bodily living, your sensing into your body, what we call embodiment, when your embodiment is a doorway to presencing a moment. Now, this is different than a lot of people's view. I'm going to get my body healthy by running or even doing yoga, all of which are good things. We're talking about something a little bit different. That any moment, like people listening right now, if you sense your right foot, where is it? What's it touching? Sense your left foot. Notice to do that. You can't be spinning out in your mind about other things. You can't be lost in your emotions. You direct your attention through your embodiment to present moment. So our emphasis on embodiment is not because we worship the body. We actually want to help people move beyond embodiment. But the body is a doorway to presence because it's always right here.
Hmm.
So we're not talking so much about improving the body, although that's great, but we're talking about how our embodiment, our aliveness to our embodiment can bring us right here.
I love that. And then Dahlia said that she feels she's experiencing the moment when she's doing it with all her senses. Dahlia, thank you for that comment and thanks for watching. If you're watching us on Esalen Live, we're with Russell and Linda Delman. They are experts in movement and spirituality. They're educators, Feldenkrais trainers. They're answering your questions. And we're talking about presencing a moment, the difference between being present and being present and presencing a moment. So we're seeing some of these photos of what's Feldenkrais. This is from Huffington Post. And Linda, you particularly like this photo of the three that we just saw. Tell us why and what Feldenkrais has to do with
Hmm.
presencing.
Well, presencing, one of the reasons I love this photo is that you're doing the unconventional movement that with Feldenkrais, we worked with our attention. It was awareness through movement. And so, whatever movement we did, and they were quite unusual very often, it was really to train the attention, to be able to divide one's attention, to be inside oneself, to hear thoughts, to do movements, and to experience the unexpected. And so, this awareness through movement allows the attention to build the awareness, to build the faculty of awareness while you're moving.
And and I would add to that that Feldenkrais had a great understanding of how the human brain works. It was very early intuitions that have been proven true about the functioning of the brain before the science was in. The science has now confirmed it about how we learn new patterns. And what he realized that if we can, in a gentle way, unwind some of our compulsive physical patterns, ways of breathing, lifting an arm, uh, turning, if we can shift those in gentle but profound ways, we actually shift the brain. And our brain becomes, at least for a little while, more open to new learning. And that learning is not only physical, it's you become more open as a human being, ready to maybe have new thoughts, maybe new feelings. So he was very interested in how movement can touch the whole human being. He wasn't predominantly interested in changing bodies. He was interested in helping human beings become their potential.
And
And
how
that's
do
an
you
amazing difference. It's great that people feel, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, how do you integrate then nature in your work with this and some other methodologies such as spirituality and psychology?
Hmm. Well, the first thing I want to say is we just looked at working through movement, but we also work through stillness. So meditation is a very important part of our work. We've been studying Zen meditation for 50 years. And the practice of sitting with awareness integrated with the practice of moving with awareness brings a much larger picture. And then connecting that to the outer world helps complete the picture.
Mm.
Yes,
And
and
in what way?
I would add that when one is present, when one is has space inside the body and is also in the world with space
Mm-hmm.
around the body, when you are in nature, it's a different encounter than, oh, there's a tree, oh, I just passed a flower. One
Right.
can actually experience the livingness of nature and even experience that livingness within themselves.
Mm,
And there is a relationship and a depth of that that comes through presence and presencing.
mm, beautiful, beautiful. See,
Russell and
one of the
Linda,
discoveries that we've
go
made,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Go. No, no, go ahead. I was
Yeah,
just
I was going
saying
to say
thank for the audience for
one of
being patient. We have a little bit of a, I think your signal might be
the,
not as strong as we need in this moment, but we can certainly hear your voices. So if you're watching at home, we're going to put this photo up, but know that you're listening to Russell and Linda Delman. And if you have any questions and if what they're saying is resonating with you, please float it into the chat. Sorry about that, Russell. Continue. I just wanted to explain what people were saying.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, so our work is so based in interrelationship. There's a real trap in our opinion in a lot of spirituality, even a lot of psychology that emphasizes the individual, but not the connectivity. And we've been blessed to be together for 48 years now, so we're learning something about intimate relationship, but also relationship with nature,
Mm,
relationship with our daughter, our friends, that it's through connectivity that the self is discovered. We don't discover ourself in ourself. We discover ourself in relatedness. And that's a key feature that's often missing in our observations of a lot of self work that is beautiful, but doesn't connect the self to the other.
mm. And when you're doing work through the pandemic with students, what have you noticed in terms of how this approach has changed the way they've been able to navigate what we're going through and maybe increase transformational paths
Mm.
for people, even though we're in a challenging time?
Well, that's a really great observation, Christine. Is a lot of our students have found that in these challenging times, that actually they've deepened in their work, that they've been able to spend a little bit more time with getting intimate with their own breathing, with
Mm.
their own groundedness, with their own presencing through their body. And now that they're interacting more with the world, we just got back from a tour in Europe with 4 courses. There's this sense that there's more that they can bring into the moment. So it's almost like this has been a training period
Mm.
for presencing. And now we get to actualize and practice and see where it lives forward and where the work still needs to be done.
Mm. Well, you have a workshop coming up at Esalen. It is waitlist only at this point, but tell us what happens during this workshop because there's a high likelihood if you're high on the wait list that you'll get in, or there may be an additional workshop added down the line somewhere. So tell us what happens in this workshop, the embodied life, December 10th through 12th, presencing and revisioning. I'm imagining some of the themes that you just chatted about working with your body and breath. Tell us more.
Well, we we do have Feldenkrais lessons are a part of the workshop. So we work on the floor doing movements, and we also relate it to the feeling center and the moving center so that we have them connected throughout. And then we do work with meditation. We do work with conversation, listening and speaking with one another. I sometimes like to call it compassionate conversation. And we also do work with just ourselves, writing practices. So it's quite a variety
Mm.
of experiences that we bring people to.
In this particular workshop, one of the things we're really emphasizing is from presencing, finding neutral, finding what we sometimes will call the 0 point inside, where you're not activated in any direction. This is potent ground for visioning what's wanted in our life, what's next. What are the voices we haven't been listening to that would really appreciate attention? It's a way of integrating, we could say, the soul life, the spirit life, with the everyday life. Because how many of us feel just always consumed with the to do list, with the important tasks of everyday life, but somehow we don't give our loving attention to our destiny, the gift we're here to bring. How does that get nourished?
Mm.
So in the seminar, we spend time getting really present and visioning what's wanted in our lives.
Well, you've gotten lots of love for this sharing of your gifts and the availability of this practice. Beautiful connections, says Susie. This has been Esalen Live. We've been chatting with Russell and Linda Delman. And if you're interested in their workshop, it is on waitlist right now, but you're more than welcome to join the waitlist and also be notified for future workshops. Meantime, we hope you've enjoyed this share by Russell and Linda Delman, and we hope you learn and continue to grow, transform, and practice. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.